And the Giants and Lions set to open the season. Already the 11th season for Tom Coughlin as the Giants head coach, two-time Super Bowl champ. Turned 68 9 days ago, and he said, my calendar is still set by football season and then the off season. No slowing down Tom Coughlin. Jim Caldwell makes his debut as the Lions head coach in the regular season here tonight. You know, he took over in Indianapolis after Tony Dungy stepped away, able to take the Colts to a Super Bowl, which they lost last few seasons as the offensive coordinator in Baltimore. And now he is the Lions head coach and takes over this explosive offense. John, the players have nerves and anticipation. So do the coaches, too, because you told me a great line during the week. As coaches, you're chasing ghosts. You don't know exactly what teams have and have not shown.
Exactly right. Both of these offenses are brand new. The Lions will get the ball, and they have been running an offense that is very similar to the New Orleans Saints. So the Giants have been studying as much New Orleans tape as they have been Detroit tape. These coaches are worn out.
Both coordinators are new for Detroit. Detroit won the toss and will receive. Josh Brown, the 35-year-old veteran, will kick it off for Big Blue. And in the Honolulu Blue, back deep to receive for the Lions is Jeremy Ross. Up we go from Detroit. And Ross from 9 yards deep will take a knee, and Matthew Stafford and the Lions will get started. Number 1 pick in 2009, Matthew Stafford has a lot of records in terms of Detroit Lions passing history. He'll go down probably as the best stat quarterback the Lions have ever had. But the record, John, 24-37 as he starts this, his 6th season.
He's got some pressure on him this year. They have an offensive head coach in Jim Caldwell. They brought in a man that coached Drew Brees, and they have surrounded him with some outstanding weapons.
Opening drive from the 20, swing it out to Reggie Bush. Got a block on the edge. And Bush, a dozen first down yards, taken out to the 32. Daquan Williams with the tackle.
Well, that's a design block screen to Reggie Bush, similar to what he did when he was with the New Orleans Saints when he caught over 80 passes. Reggie Bush is a problem coming out of the backfield. That time they deployed 2 lead blockers, and Bush picked up the first down easily.
Last year, and again this, it was a 1-2 punch with Reggie Bush and Joique Bell, now in his 4th year, from Wayne State, Division II school, just a couple of miles away from this stadium. And from the 32, it is Bell with the carry. And Prince Amukamara able to wrap him up. And it's a loss of about 1.5 yards on the edge for the Giants defense. Blocking for the Lions up front, same 5 they had last year. Warford and Waddle, both in their 2nd year, had good rookie seasons. The skill positions, we mentioned Bush and Bell, Calvin Johnson. Will they target him as much as they have in the past? That was a criticism of Stafford. He forced it to Johnson too much. Golden Tate comes from the Super Bowl champion Seahawks. And they drafted, behind Brandon Pettigrew, Eric Ebron, number 85, their 1st-round pick. A tight end at 6'4", who they think a lot of. Ricky. Officially no gain. 2nd and 10, Stafford hangs in and throws towards Johnson. Megatron, catch 1. Highlight 1.
Not much Prince Amukamara can do there. Just a simple fade pattern, and if Calvin can't beat him over the top, it's a back shoulder ball. What body control by Megatron.
Saw a hat thrown there, John, which usually indicates a player had gone out of bounds and would be illegal touching. Clete Blakeman's crew talking about that.
Illegal touch against the offense. The receiver went out of bounds, came back in, and was the first to touch the ball. It's a 5-yard penalty. We'll replay 2nd down.
That's uncommon that Calvin Johnson gets that penalty called against him. Normally, his line awareness is superb. That time, Amukamara did an excellent job funneling him into the boundary.
So the penalty will back Detroit up 5 yards. It'll be 2nd and 15. Nullifies what would have been a 24-yard gain for Calvin. All the communication from both sides up front as Stafford throws on the cross. It's Bush tackled at the 33-yard line. Gets the penalty yardage back. It'll be 3rd and long for Detroit.
Well, that's halfback choice. You've seen it for years in New Orleans. He's going to come out and get a two-way go on Jaquan Williams, the very good coverage linebacker of the New York Giants. Ball distribution is going to be a lot different in Detroit this year, Mike. They love to use these backs as primary receivers in this system.
Now that's the big thing that always sticks out watching Breeze and the Saints play. And the same influence comes from Joe Lombardi, who's the offensive coordinator now with the Lions. Bush and Bell in the backfield and release on 3rd and 9. Stafford keeps the play alive, directs and fires to Johnson, who's free, and Megatron's all the way home. Touchdown, Detroit.
We talked about Matthew Stafford being in tremendous shape. He's quicker, he's in better condition, and he made Damontre Moore, second-year pass rusher of the Giants, look bad. He eludes Damontre Moore, keeps his eyes downfield, and Antrell Roll and Stevie Brown ran right into each other, blew the coverage, and Megatron gets the easiest touchdown he's had here in years.
Here comes the collision with the two Giants, but that collision may not have mattered. Rogers Cromartie had lost Johnson on that second reaction play, which is not typically Matthew Stafford's game. Rookie Nate Freeze, drafted out of Boston College, scores his first point as a Lion with the extra point. He scored 12 last year. He is one of the special players in the league. Calvin Johnson in the end zone to open the season for Detroit. Comerica Park, the baseball stadium to the left and Ford Field to the right. There's the overhead look live. They go to the ninth next door. The Tigers lead Kansas City 9-5, trying to get within 2 of the loss column of the Royals. An important AL Central series there. You see all the folks right next door to these two venues in downtown. Pretty special day down here. Sam Martin kicks for the Lions. Quentin Demps will watch it sail through the uprights. John, take us back to the touchdown.
Well, it's just a deep out route by Calvin Johnson, and when he sees Stafford scrambles, he's just going to take it up. But keep an eye on the right side of your screen. You'll see 21 roll, 26 roll, and 27 Stevie Brown run right into each other there on the right side of the screen, and Calvin Johnson makes it happen easy. Watch Reggie Bush nudge Jason Pierre-Paul. That's an excellent technique that the Saints have made famous in pro football. It gives the quarterback an extra second to throw it. Nice job by Bush.
All right, Giant fans, here's your first look at the new offense. From the 20, Manning hands to Jennings. Rashad Jennings, loss of 2. DeAndre Levy finished it. Nick Fairley started it.
Nick Fairley has awakened. He was benched during training camp. He got out of weight, got overweight, did not play well in the preseason at Oakland, and Jim Caldwell demoted him. Put C.J. Mosley up there, and it got Fairley's attention. He's playing for a contract, and he knows he's got to live up to expectations now.
Hand signals. You'll see a lot of those. A lot like Green Bay does. That's where the new offensive coordinator's from. Jennings, 1 yard. Stephen Tulloch to tackle.
This is not where the Giants want to be, behind in the down and distance, Mike.
Eli Manning, who's been through a lot. This is his 152nd consecutive start. 3rd amongst quarterbacks, but with London Fletcher now in television, Eli holds the mantle of the longest current streak in the NFL. 3rd and 11. First pass attempt. Incomplete. Ruben Randall and Terrell Jernigan, the receivers. Jernigan slanting in, couldn't get to it.
Well, they love that deep in route. slot combination. They clear out the deep zone with the slot defender, and they like to bring in a deep square in from the outside. That time, I think Eli just missed it.
Steve Weatherford has punted for one of the New York teams for the last half dozen years. A couple of years with the Jets, fourth year now kicking with the Giants. Jeremy Ross became a good return weapon for Detroit last year. Weatherford gets a nice one away, 55 yards. Ross in the 26. He returns it 4-4, and the Lions will take over at the 30. Special teams tackle made by Mark Herzlich. It's a work in progress. Ben McAdoo's the man on the right there. He's trying to construct this new offense. Frustrating beginning. New tablet that they use to look at the pictures from above, and Eli Manning and Ryan Nassib, the backup quarterback, in conversation with the new offensive coordinator, Ben McAdoo.
Yeah, and all these meetings on the sideline. This whole routine is new for Eli Manning as well. Making adjustments. It's not like it used to be.
Second drive is stopped with a motion penalty on Detroit.
False start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Well, John, let's talk about the Giants defensively. They have the ends who you're familiar with, Kiwanuka and Pierre-Paul. Jonathan Hankins in his second year becomes a starter. John Beeson missed most of camp. Jameel McClain signed from Baltimore. And in the secondary, Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie comes over from Denver to join Roll Brown and the former first-round pick of the Giants, Prince Amukamara. We expect to see Rodgers-Cromartie follow Calvin Johnson all night long. Bush saw the pressure, tried to back out of the hole, and there was nothing going. That's the man I just mentioned out of Ohio State, Jonathan Hankins, with the penetration.
Well, that's why they let Linval Joseph go in free agency. Hankins is a monster, and the Giants for years have had big people that can dominate inside. They've really liked what they've seen from Hankins throughout this preseason. Nice work by the former Buckeye.
Split.
Second and 18. Stafford adjusts the play, steps up in the pocket, and hits Bush. There goes Reggie for the first down. To the 48-yard line. Just get it to Reggie and go. Gain of 25, and a Giant is injured behind the play. It's Jason Pierre-Paul who's hurt. Coming off the left end there. Looks like he ran into his own man as Bush ran away.
And this is catastrophic for the Giants. Jason Pierre-Paul has battled back from shoulder and back injuries, and let's hope he's okay.
They're already looking at that left shoulder in a great deal of pain. Injury timeout. Back live as Jason Pierre-Paul walks off to the sideline. It was a back injury that bothered him, John, last year. He came back and started the regular season, missed the last 5 with a shoulder injury, and they were working on that shoulder while we were in commercial. And left shoulder strain is what kept him out towards the end of last year, so the Giants continue to look at Pierre-Paul. He's replaced by the veteran Robert Ayers, Jersey City kid making his Giants debut here tonight. From the 47 is Stafford. Throwing to Calvin Johnson on the sideline. It is ruled complete for the first down at the Giants' 38-yard line.
Well, there's Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. We knew he was going to get a lot of one-on-one opportunities against Calvin Johnson, and round 1 goes to Megatron. That time the Lions came out with 3 tight ends, Mike. Detroit continues to use different personnel groupings, and they have the Giants off balance.
Calvin, the great numbers last year, even though they were down significantly from the record-setting year before. Toss to Joyce Bell, running right. Matthias Kiwanuka. We got a stop after a yard. Jameel McClain in there as well.
Look at all these personnel groupings. It's exactly like the Saints. Here comes Fourier, 80, and Ebron, 85, and Pettigrew. There's 3 tight ends. 1 right wide receiver is Megatron. And the Giants have to counter that with their base defense. But Joe Lombardi, the former quarterback coach of the New Orleans Saints for 7 years, has an offense that looks exactly like the New Orleans Saints. Here's a bunch formation with Calvin isolated up top.
And from the 37, Stafford scans the field and throws it back to one of his 3 tight ends. And Brandon Pettigrew looks like he has a first down right around the 28-yard line. Beeson and Williams stop him.
Stafford's going to look to his left. That's where he wants to go with the football. But watch him reset. He keeps his feet alive, and he gets to his 3rd receiver. Stafford doing an excellent job in this system, getting to his 2nd and 3rd looks and using all 5 eligibles, and that's what they want here. Ball distribution, up-tempo, and a lot of personnel groupings. So far, I'm really impressed.
Well, that's a good start. Wow.
Shoes.
From the 28, Joyce Bell with the fullback Collins blocking. Bell close to a first down at the 18-yard line.
Did you say fullback, Mike?
Yes, I did.
Fullback blocking in Detroit. Watch Jed Collins, the ex-New Orleans Saints fullback, come across the formation on a counter play. Block Jaquan Williams, and out goes Joyce Bell. I haven't seen a 2-back set in Detroit since Corey Schlesinger was here, Mike.
It's about that long.
This looks a lot different than anything I've seen here.
Lions haven't had a fullback on the roster in 4 years. Jerome Felton briefly in that role, but Schlesinger out of Nebraska about a decade ago was the best they've had here in a while. Lions in the red zone from the 18. Stafford over the top. Eric Ebron. The rookie couldn't get his first touchdown. Flag is down in the secondary. Stevie Brown had the coverage on Ebron.
Holding defense. Number 57. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
A lot of weapons. Ebron's the 10th player picked in the draft. Number 85 on a swing route against safety man Stevie Brown. And I think Stafford slightly underthrew that ball, but Ebron should go up and get it.
First and 10, Detroit at the 13. It is Bell. Hit behind the line of scrimmage, and he lost the football. That was a problem early in Bell's career. Jameel McClain made the initial hit. Lions ball. And Terrell Roll came down in the pile and helped McClain knock it free. Here comes Roll, a guy you love, and his role is now a pure safety in this Giants defense.
He has done a lot of good things. 6 interceptions last year, had 2 sacks, and he's settling in at the safety position with the addition of Walter Thurman, number 24. The ex-Seattle Seahawk is taking his place as the nickel corner.
First look in the game for Corey Fuller, Detroit receiver at the top of your screen. Empty in the backfield as the Giants rush 3. Stafford just gets rid of it as the coverage was good. Lisa Salters with an update.
Hey, Mike, well, they just took Jason Pierre-Paul back to the locker room. They took him back on a cart, but I did hear him tell the staff that he was capable of walking, but because the locker room is on the other end of the field, they thought it would be better if they carted him off. After looking at the video, it appeared that what they're concerned about is the way that his neck bent to one side, so they're going to go back to the locker room and take a closer look.
All right, Lisa, we'll keep an eye if he comes back in the game. Those key pass rushers Giants would love to have on 3rd and 13. Giants bring pressure. Stafford finds space to scan and throw to the end zone. Caught again! Megatron again! Touchdown, Detroit!
Matt Stafford is ripping the New York Giants. Not just with his arm and with his scheme, he's doing it with his mobility, Mike. Slot blitz comes off the left side. Stafford steps up. He gets out of trouble to his left, and against the grain, he rings them up. What a throw by Matt Stafford. What a catch.
Second reaction plays are so tough for defenses to stop. And when it's Calvin Johnson and Stafford outside the pocket, good luck. 2 drives, 2 Calvin Johnson touchdowns. Stafford has thrown for 149 yards, more than he has in any first quarter in his career. A dream start in downtown Detroit for the home team. 14-0 Lions. Made coming into this game about Eli Manning. It's his first game in this new offense, first time it's changed in his career. Same true for Matthew Stafford as he's adjusted to new terminology and new coaches. And so far, he is taking to it very well.
He is. I've seen him audible. I've seen him throw the ball to his running backs. He's gotten the ball to his tight ends, and he's gotten out of trouble for 2 big plays. His conditioning is much better than we've seen it, Mike.
No return on the Sam Martin kickoff. Let's watch Stafford out of the pocket, keeping some time, keeping things alive.
Well, you can always get better. You can get quicker. You can get faster. You can become more sudden. How about that movement by Matt Stafford? And he has the presence to keep his eyes downfield and make a big play. Pressure coming off his left side. Once again, he eludes it to his left. And he still has some of the most uncommon, unorthodox releases that I've seen. What a start for Matt Stafford and the Lions.
Giants start second drive at their own 20. Eli Manning looking to get something in the air. It's deflected and almost intercepted by DeAndre Levy, who had 6 last year, but it was incomplete. Off the hands of the tight end, Larry Donnell. Clearly hit the ground and incomplete.
I think it's hard to do. It's a play-action pass from the shotgun, throwing the ball to a tight end that has very little background catching the football. Ball's thrown behind Donnell, and they're lucky that wasn't intercepted.
Very loud in here. Safety blitz picked up. Manning fires. Incomplete. Victor Cruz with a flag throw. Cruz was trying to break free, but a flag was thrown. The Lions shaken up on the play as well. As we wait for the flag, let me just let you know that Ray Rice story we've talked about all day. John Harbaugh is addressing the media. That press conference has been underway for a few minutes. SportsCenter on ESPN2 has that.
Number 28. The ball he placed at the spot of the foul. First down, New York.
And we will have the key comments from Harbaugh coming up in the studio at halftime. The injured Lion is their nickel, Bill Bentley.
This is a very thin secondary, Mike. They can ill afford an injury to anyone, let alone their nickel corner. They don't have many options at that position.
Already without their starters, James Ahedebo at safety and Don Carey, a backup safety. And now add to that the nickel, Bill Bentley, shaken up. As Bentley goes over to the sideline, we'll take a timeout. Mentioned that the John Harbaugh press conference is on ESPN2. John, obviously the Ray Rice story, very disturbing to see that video earlier today.
That is disturbing. There's no place for it in football or society, and you summed it up, Mike. It's just very disturbing.
Steve Bisciotti, the owner, got all the key people, Dick Cass, the president, Ozzie Newsome, John Harbaugh together, and they had a unanimous decision to make this Ray Rice move and terminate his contract immediately. Again, more on this at halftime. First and 10 for the Giants after the flag, and Ndamukong Suh tackles Rashad Jennings. A gain of just 1 on the play.
Ndamukong Suh is a problem as a pass rusher, and he's a problem on the backside of these running plays. Look at him penetrate off of the backside. Jerry had no chance.
The Giants would like to do this, jump in quickly to their offense. 2nd and 9. And Manning throws. Jernigan able to hang on with a second catch of it. Darius Slay, the corner, in his second year, made the tackle.
Jernigan came on last year late in the season. They need a lot from him with their first-round draft choice, Odell Beckham, out. And here comes Eli Manning pushing the tempo with the no huddle.
3rd and 4. The Lions rush 4, and Eli goes for his escape, and Jennings can't hang on. Closing in was Isa Abdul-Quddus, the safety.
Excuse me, Mike. It's just an area that the Giants have struggled at. They have not replaced Ahmad Bradshaw in the passing game. They need to get someone to step up and catch these outlets. Whether it's a perfect throw or not, Jennings needs to make that play.
See if Weatherford can pin Detroit back. Pressure up the middle, and it's partially blocked. Certainly got a piece of it, and the ball will be down by the Giants at the 36-yard line. Just a 16-yard punt. So here, Whitehead got through and got a piece.
Right up the middle.
Lions special teams MVP, now their starting linebacker, gets in on the kicker. Of late, the Lions have gotten off to good starts. Even last year, they were 6-3. Aaron Rodgers was hurt. Jake Cutler was hurt. This was silver platter handed to Detroit. Great opportunity to get a first division win in nearly 2 decades. Lions lost 6 of their last 7, blew a fourth quarter lead in every game, thus finished a game and a half behind the division champion Packers. Remember, Green Bay went to Chicago on the last drive of the season and beat the Bears. So it's another good start here. This is the first time the Lions have opened a season with 2 touchdown drives since 1990 against Tampa. And of course, the punchline, like it is off with the Lions, they lost that game, 38-21 to Tampa. It was a Rodney Peete quarterback Lions group back then. This drive starts at the 36. Stafford, another shot down the field. Calvin going down, and it's Johnson shaken up, and the pass ruled incomplete. Prince Amukamara back in coverage as Calvin Johnson went up for it and couldn't pull it in.
Well, it's a play that we previewed in the pregame. It's an I formation, play action pass. You're going to see the fullback slide across the backfield, give him a maximum protection, and they're just going to throw a deep cross with a clear out combination. And they are attacking the Giants secondary down the field. They're going after Stevie Brown, who missed most of last season, actually all of last season, the regular season, with a knee injury, and they're going to test him deep tonight.
Prince Amukamara was the aggressive player to come through, dislodge Johnson from the ball, and Calvin coming back to the sideline. Reggie Bush the back on 2nd and 10, and Stafford's on the run again. This time just getting rid of it. Nobody open. Matthias Kiwanuka busting through. As Jason Pierre-Paul is back getting x-rays on his neck. Important to have the influence of Kiwanuka. Calvin Johnson returns.
I used to go to New Orleans and watch him practice, and Joe Lombardi, he would brag about all their plays. They had a lot of good things in their playbook. He says, you know, I have never seen a receiver like Megatron. He's tempted to throw the ball to him every single play, and he's so unselfish and natural. He can line up anywhere and run any route on the tree.
It's pretty good head-to-head at the top of the screen. 3rd and 10, and Stafford throws to Reggie Bush, who is corralled this time. Good defense by the Giants. The new nickelback, Walter Thurman, who was there along with Amukamara, to give Bush nowhere to go, and the Lions go 3 and out.
That's one thing the Giants do well on defense. They tackle. Last year, they were as good as any team in the league, limiting yardage after the catch. That time, Thurman and company are off the field, and they desperately needed a 3-and-out stop to try to get some momentum back.
Sam Martin kicking to Preston Parker, who in part made the Giants because of his ability to return punts and the injuries at that spot. Good kick. Parker fields it inside of his own 5, usually not advised, and he's brought down at the 16-yard line. So here, Whitehead, 2nd special teams play in a row. Well, John, we talk about new offense and introducing it. Let's introduce you to Ben McAdoo, who started with the New Orleans Saints as a quality control guy, went to San Francisco working some offensive line, but really got his football background with the Packers the last 7 years, tight ends, then quarterbacks, with Mike McCarthy, who does such a good job in a solid offensive system, developing quarterbacks and coaches.
They cross-train their coaches in Green Bay. They teach their whole coaching staff to see the game through the quarterback's eyes. That's how McAdoo was raised. He understands the nuances of the running game, the pass protection. He's had experience coaching a great quarterback. Let's see if he can get this offense going with Eli Manning.
Ben McAdoo is young, 36 years old, as he takes over this job. And it's the first time he's called plays in the NFL. He actually got his coaching career started just a bit north of here in Lansing when he was with Michigan State back in 2001 and after 4 years of high school.
And I look in that Detroit Lions defensive huddle. Rookie Nevin Lawson is checked in as the nickelback, number 43. That's a tall order for any rookie to play in the slot against a man like Victor Cruz.
Bill Bentley, hurt before, has a knee injury. He's questionable to return. So Lawson, the 4th-round pick, is in. Lions had a man downfield early, so it tacks 5 onto this, and the drive start is at the 21. And Manning hits his tight end. Upended is Larry Donnell, but a first down at the 40 for Donnell.
Here they come in a no huddle. It's a power pass, reverse pivot. Watch the backside guard pull. They fool the linebackers, and Larry Donnell is wide open in the middle of the field. Good early down call.
And off, and it's Jennings, gained just a couple of yards. That's a position the Giants needed to address. They went through a half dozen different starting running backs last year. So Jennings, who comes over after a good start to his career in Jacksonville behind Maurice Jones-Drew, then was with Oakland last year and really shined with the Raiders. He's signed by the Giants. They also draft Andre Williams in the 4th round. All he did was run for 2,100 plus yards at Boston College last year. The new backs for the Giants. Go! 2nd and 8. Manning rolls it and throws it complete to Jernigan, and this is a much better look. John, I feel like since they jumped into some no huddle, there's better rhythm to this offense.
Doing a nice job mixing up the plays. That time it's a sprint out, and Jernigan beats Darius Slay. Ball's thrown perfectly to the outside.
In Lions territory, Manning has some time. The flag down as he throws it complete towards the sideline. Ruben Randall's going to be taken down at the 40. But did he have time because there was holding? Or do we have one of those hands to the face that have been so common in the preseason as a point of emphasis? Yeah, it looks to be that hands to the face on Detroit.
Illegal hands. Defense, hands to the face, number 98. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It's on Nick Fairley. Let's check in with Lisa.
Well, Mike, Jason Pierre-Paul is back from the locker room. He's standing on the Giants sideline right now. X-rays on his neck were negative. I'm told that he will be back on the field when the Giants defense gets back out there. Mike.
That's great news for the Giants. Pierre-Paul looked to be in great discomfort when he went down. Clete Blakeman went over to Tom Coughlin just to figure out what they wanted there. The 5 on the flag. The gain was 8. They have to get the change right on the far side there. Ball is spotted at the gain of 8. They're going to bring it back to the 5.
5 yards from the previous spot. And it's an automatic first down, right. New York.
John, I've been watching the right foot of Eli Manning as you showed us in the pregame, those new fundamentals. Oh, in the no huddle, where is that right foot? Because that's a departure for him, and so far it's been the right foot that's been back. And that's the new way, right?
Yes, and I give Eli a lot of credit for having an open mind, being willing to try anything to get better. He's bought into this offensive system change 100%. And when you have a 2-time world champion quarterback that buys in, you have no choice if you're another player. There we go.
You're very patient week one. You're not getting frustrated. I was the one who was about to say, let's go. Just a 5-yard penalty, moving along here. Buck 13 left in the opening quarter. Giants offense finding some rhythm. Jennings to the right. He hit hard at the 40-yard line. A good first down run. And a gain of 4.
And Andre Williams has just checked in, the rookie running back out of Boston College. Doak Walker Award winner, had almost 2,200 yards rushing, but no catches, Mike. Was a little one-dimensional, but man, can this kid run the rock.
Did not catch a pass his senior season at BC. Manning taking a shot downfield. Jernigan covered by Slay, and it's incomplete for Jarrell.
Pressure on Manning. Ziggy Ansah bringing heat off the corner. They want to take shots at Darius Slay and Rasheem Mathis deep. Take a look at Will Beatty at left tackle on the power rush, and Ansah was looking forward to this one. He got Ziggy Ansah, or he got Will Beatty last year twice. That time he got him with a power rush.
The Giants need to get to the 34 to keep the drive alive. Big pressure pickup, but not the free man coming. George Johnson with the sack of Manning at midfield.
George Johnson had a great preseason. He was cut by Tampa, cut by Minnesota. And George Johnson on a stunt comes clean. One of the reasons you blitz is to create one-on-ones for your defensive line, and George Johnson gets his first sack in Detroit.
Third-year man out of Rutgers, with Glassboro, New Jersey, on the board for the first time in his career. More pressure on Weatherford, who is knocked down. The flag is down as the ball is fair caught by Ross at the 10-yard line. Ross caught it.
Personal foul.
That's a roughing the kicker call.
Defense.
As Weatherford's down.
28, 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Jim Caldwell getting on his rookie, Jerome Copeland. 28 was whistled for the floor, signifies the flag, but Bentley's hurt. It's Copeland who says, oh, Jameel McLean hit me, and I just went off McLean into Weatherford. Weatherford injured as the clock hits 0-0 this opening quarter. Second quarter here in Detroit. Mike Tirico, John Gruden, Lisa Salters. The Cardinals and the Chargers, the second game of our Week 1 Monday Night Football doubleheader. Detroit scored on passes to Calvin Johnson on their first 2 drives from Matthew Stafford. They lead 14-0. A roughing the kicker penalty on Detroit gives the Giants new life at the Lions 35 and first down. Go! Rashad Jennings the back as Manning throws. Short gain for Cannell, only 2. Isa Abdul-Quddus, who got the start at safety because James Ahedebo is hurt, made the tackle.
That's a nice break and drive from Quddus. Started the last 2 preseason games with James Ahedebo out. Taking advantage of the start.
Alpha, 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 alpha! Go! Jennings, a shotgun run up the middle. Jennings inside the 20-yard line, down to the 18.
One thing I like about this offense is you have a lot of shotgun runs, not just passes. There's more volume in this offense from the gun than most teams. And Ben McAdoo loves the shotgun.
The 18 here, John Jennings with a run to the 15-yard line. You always say that when we do Green Bay games. Again, McAdoo has brought the entirety, language, and all the other stuff from Green Bay. It's new for the Giants, new for Eli. But one of the things that helped, there are a lot of new faces here. So as they came in, it wasn't like the whole team was going through the readjust from the old offense to the new. Play action, 2nd and 5. Good pocket as Manning goes end zone. Flag down. Slay cut in front of Jernigan. We'll see if Darius is the one who's guilty.
There's no doubt about that call on Slay. And penalties continue to plague the Lions. We've said it for the last few years here. That's the 3rd big penalty on this drive.
Pass interference. Defense, number 23. The foul occurred in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line. First down.
Take a look at the isolation. Jernigan against Slay.
It's as easy as you can
as
have.
it gets.
7 penalties on the Lions. 3 have resulted in Giants first downs, and this was a team that was horrific in the discipline category. Not just a volume of penalties, but poorly timed penalties. New coach, accountability, all that stuff. Same problem in the first quarter plus. Corey Washington, 6'4", bottom of the screen. The free agent rookie receiver for the Giants, using his size in the red zone. And he couldn't pull it in on Slay. Incomplete pass.
Well, the young receiver had 4 touchdowns in the preseason. You could see that coming a mile away. That time Slay did a nice job playing the ball. And now there's some heavy artillery for this Giant offense. Look for Jennings. Now they're shifting to an open set.
I got Dallas Reynolds, the backup offensive lineman, in the slot. And Manning's going to throw again to his tall man. Janelle this time goes up, pulls it down. No, out of bounds. Incomplete as he battled with Glover Quinn.
How about this play selection? First and goal from the 1. 2 high-point fades. One to a receiver that has never played in the NFL, and one to Donnell, who has 3 career catches.
And you saw the official come in and say that toe was on the white. That was his point. That's very close. Official came right in and pointed. Giants don't challenge. It is Jennings. He is stopped. Levy and Quinn with the penetration.
Penetration. Total rejection from the Lion defense. Fairly forced the play to bounce outside, and Stephen Tulloch, the leading tackler, smashes Rashad Jennings.
Giants change personnel. Lions trying to make sure they have 11. They do, and they're trying to get a timeout to make sure they have the 11 they want. They will take the timeout here as the Giants line up to go for it on 4th and goal. Well, we showed you the Donnell play, the one look at it. The Giants coaches get a feed of the broadcast like all the coaches around the league. And they decide not to challenge. A little time to give you another look at it as Donnell went up for it. It looks good from there, but there you see that toe right on the white, and the official on that side came through and pointed to the edge of the white and said that's why it was no touchdown.
Yeah, Tom Coughlin has people that he's talking to in the press box. I can assure you of that. But first and goal at the 1, you take a shot to a rookie receiver from Newberry College. Second down, you go to Donnell, undrafted from Grambling.
With
And
3 catches in his career.
now it's 4th and goal at the 1. Anything goes.
Victor Cruz in the slot. They go to the other side, and this time Donnell's able to hang on for the touchdown. Larry Donnell's first NFL TD.
Don't mess around with these Manning brothers. The Lions are 0-6 against Eli and Peyton combined. That time on 4th down, he puts the ball up and gives his young tight end another chance. But look at the 6'6" size advantage that Donnell has over Caduce. That was easy.
Abdul Caduce is 6'1". They just towered over him for the touchdown. Weatherford, who got the ankle taped after they roughed the punter, is into hold for Josh Brown. Well, since the Giants jumped into their no-huddle offense look, John, they've looked much more effective. 79 yards. Drive kept alive by Lions penalties. Big Blues on the board. And our coverage from Spider Cam tonight is brought to you by DirecTV. Here inside of Ford Field, where they played Super Bowl 40. Pittsburgh beating Seattle. The drive kept alive by a few penalties. Just to go back, talk with Jerry Austin, our Super Bowl referee in the booth, that roughing the punter was a correct penalty call. Ross back and no return. John, let's talk about some of the issues that last series.
Well, penalties, they continue to plague the Lions. Here's Nick Fairley with the hands to the face penalty. That kept the drive alive. 477 penalties in the last 4 years. A roughing the punter penalty. Clearly the correct call. And then Darius Slay, pass interference. 1st and goal at the 1. You cannot give quarterbacks like Eli Manning 2nd and 3rd opportunities. They'll come back and get you.
And there you saw the number of penalties. That's been the story with Detroit the last few years. The first down run for Reggie Bush will be at about 2. Jonathan Hankins with the tackle. Jason Pierre-Paul back in the lineup for the Giants after that neck injury in the first quarter.
JPP working against Riley Reef. Quick set, he got cut. Got pressure on Stafford. And here he is slamming into his own teammate. Glad he's okay and back out there. They need JPP back.
Second and 9, it is back to Reggie Bush. He's trying to run right. That's only going to gain a couple of yards. That'll be 3rd down. Giants have done a good job. A little pushing. And fist exchange as Larry Warford of Detroit is in there with the Giants.
Now listening to Stafford, he's really struggling with the terminology, the nomenclature of this offense. He's got to call formations, shifts, motions. But he's not just calling one play in the huddle, Mike. He's calling 2 plays. He'll call one play and kill it with another. So if you see him killing it, making that signal, he's activating the second call. But he's having a hard time calling the first play, let alone the second.
It's 3rd down. He's got time. It's an underneath throw, and Golden Tate catches his first pass as a Lion. But the Giants rally to the ball very effectively, and that's another 3-and-out series for the Giants defense, 2 in a row.
We said that the last series, Mike. If they get you behind in the down and distance, they force you to throw the ball underneath, and they rally and tackle as well as most defenses I've seen in pro football. That time, Pierre-Paul came out of the stack and cleaned up the pile, and just like that, the Giants have recaptured the momentum.
Parker deep. Puts away from Sam Martin, who got knocked down looking for the flag, doesn't get it. Parker back at the 20 up the sideline. Nice return of 18 to the 38-yard line. Travis Lewis made the tackle for Detroit. No flag down. Good field position for Eli Manning and the Giants after 2 struggles on opening drives. Third one was pretty good. Both came to the Giants in 2004. Tom Coughlin talked to us about getting Eli back on track this year.
I wanted to light a little fire in everybody's rear end that was still here. I wanted Eli to be inspired again. I wanted him to work at it. I wanted him to think it was something new. I wanted him to work hard at that, and he has it. He has since the first moment he's come in here.
And that's vintage Tom Coughlin. He is just all about getting this thing going one more time, getting the confidence back in this Giants offense. Jernigan the catch, a missed tackle, allows Jernigan to go forward. It's a good job to gain 7, maybe even 8 yards on that first down.
Hey, change is tough, Mike, especially when you're not used to it. I mean, Eli Manning's going in there getting lessons from different coaches that he's never met before. The content is totally new, but he's kept an open mind. He's bought in, and he's making progress every day.
After the gain of 8, Andre Williams first carry. It's a first down. He had 3 before Stephen Tulloch makes the stop.
Andre Williams is an interesting kid. He's a philosophical kid, Mike. He reads poetry. He's even written some philosophical memoirs. You ought to hang out with him. And he's a hard runner.
At midfield, Eli just getting rid of that. Getting himself out of the tackle box to illegally throw it out of bounds and incomplete. C.J. Mosley with the pressure. So we mentioned Williams was drafted. Jennings was brought in because of the bottom fact there. 6 different starting running backs. League hasn't seen that in a half-decade when it happened last year. The Giants started 46 different players. Only Tampa started more last year. 0-6 start. Spiraled at the beginning. They were able to right the ship a bit towards the end. Here is Rueben Randle spinning away from Slay, but not for long, as the second-year Lion makes the tackle for no gain.
Giants need more from Rueben Randle. That time it's just a one-step smoke route. You're one-on-one with Darius Slay. Get north and south. Too many independent moves going on there. That's not going to work in the National Football League. Randle's got to pick it up for these Giants.
Third and 10. Lions bring pressure late. Manning in trouble. Sacked. Tulloch on the bottom. Johnson on top with Hansa.
Just not good blocking. Biggest fear the Giants have is falling behind in the down and distance. Just watch these four pass rushers work. It's the straight four-man rush. Tulloch came to try to occupy the back, and down goes Eli.
Did you see Andre Williams missed him there, the rookie back? He missed Tulloch as he was coming through after taping the ankle, getting rough earlier. Weatherford. 53 yards. The flag is down as it's returned to the 22-yard line by Ross.
During the kick, holding on the kicking team, number 35. 10-yard penalty being forced for the end of the kick. First down, Detroit.
So the Quentin Demps flag will take it up to the 31-yard line for the Lions. Scored in their first two drives, 3 and out of their last 2. 7-point lead for the home team.
ESPN celebrating 45 years of Monday Night Football.
Stafford opened on fire, 7 of 8, big numbers there. Manning has added to it the last couple of drives. You see what they've done on the field as the Lions take over at their own 31. Stafford adding to the numbers, a completion to Calvin Johnson by 8 yards to the 39 in front of Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie.
Well, Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie is here to play star coverage. That's when you say you go cover the star receiver. He relishes that opportunity. He's on his 4th team in 7 years. One thing about young number 21, he's got great ball skills. He's returned 5 interceptions for touchdown.
With the AFC champion Broncos last year, it is Bell, nowhere to go. Good penetration. Jason Pierre-Paul hurt in the first quarter. Behind the line of scrimmage here in the second. Good to see him back.
Very good play. You can impact the game as a run defender as well. Take a look at JPP on the right side of your screen. Backside, he beats the cutoff block. How about that agility?
What a play. Wow. The Lions have not been able to run the ball. This Giant front 7 been able to get the job done.
That isolation up top, Megatron and Cromartie.
And on 3rd and 3, Stafford's looking left, and Golden Tate able to come up with the catch at the first down at the 47-yard line.
Golden Tate led the Seahawks in receiving last year. Powerful lower body. Watch him break to the outside, cross face, beat Amukamara for the first down. A lot of weapons. A lot of different kind of receiving threats.
Ryan Broyles and Kevin Ogletree had good preseasons. They're both inactive for Detroit tonight. Corey Fuller is one of the other receivers in the lineup this evening, and he's on the field right now. This is Bush, but nowhere to go. The pile is pushed in part by Larry Warford, who got up, gain of only about a yard.
Look over on that Giants sideline. You see John Beeson catching his breath. Beeson missed every training camp practice. He had foot problems, had some food poisoning problems. He's a coach on the field. His presence has really turned this Giant defense around. He's upbeat, he's positive, he encourages his teammates, and he's really set a great example here. They need him on the field every down.
When he got traded from Carolina to the Giants, it really helped the New York defense. Tate coming around the end, and Roll reading it from his safety position. Antrell buzzing down there to make the stop and set up third down. You talked about Golden Tate coming over from the Super Bowl champs, John. Remember, he was a running back, highly touted one in high school, started at Notre Dame as a running back, had a terrific senior year with the Fighting Irish. And as Seattle threw the ball more last year with Russell Wilson, Tate's numbers went up. He may be the best compliment that the Lions have had in terms of a wide receiver opposite Calvin Johnson.
It might be, and he's going to see some really good single coverage looks with all the attention Megatron gets.
Those are all the Giants, all 11 of them right there in your screen. Stafford slanting. The middle's open for Johnson to the 23-yard line.
That can't happen. It's an all-out blitz, and Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie cannot get beat inside. They're going to give Calvin Johnson a two-way go, but if you're going to quick jam a 6'5", 235-pound receiver, you better be one strong corner. Not a good decision by Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie to challenge Calvin Johnson physically.
Calvin Johnson, well over 100 already. 2 touchdowns, 131 yards. How's your fantasy team doing if you have Megatron? Here's Joyce Bell. Pierre-Paul again has 2 really good plays in this drive in the run game from a player who you look to be a big sack man for the Giants.
Well, this is an unblocked defender. You have 7 men in the box. You've heard about a loaded box. Some of these one-back runs, you're vulnerable to being chased down from the backside. And how do you not like what you've seen from Jason Pierre-Paul in this first half? Coming out of the locker room, overcoming an injury, and making a couple excellent tackles for loss.
5th year in the league, been to the Pro Bowl twice. Has to be the bell cow. There's no more Tuck. Strahan's long gone. He's got to be the guy up front. Getting double teamed here. Stafford throws on a strike to Tate. Flag down. Tate down at the 7. The flag is back near the quarterback.
How strong is his arm?
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask. Offense, number 51. It's a 15-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
That's Dominic Raiola, the longest tenured Lion in his 14th year in the league. And the 8th penalty on Detroit in this first half.
The penalties are killing the Lions. Take a look at the center, number 51. And there's no question, those hands are in the face mask. Look for a screen or a draw right here against this Giant pass rush.
2nd and 25. Have you called plays before? Reggie Bush. I'll tell you what, Perry Fewell has called defenses before too. And that crew was very ready for that.
Well, when you have Reggie Bush in an offset back position on 2nd and 25, Perry Fewell probably made a couple alerts. And it's a nice play. Reggie Bush, you see him wide in his alignment. He's going to check his protection and leak out on the screen, and that's just excellent pursuit from inside out by the Giants.
So 78 for Detroit. Corey Hilliard, he's playing right tackle. Adrian Waddle hurt his calf early on, and Hilliard has been the right tackle throughout most of this half. 3rd and 25. And Stafford tries the middle again. Golden Tate eludes 1 tackle. He's brought down to the 25. It'll set up a 43-yard field goal attempt.
I'm losing my interest in this Tampa 2 style coverage. Just too much real estate inside, and that was just too easy for Golden Tate. It sets up a very makeable field goal for the Lions.
Their rookie kicker, Nate Freese, will have his first opportunity at a field goal after the 2-minute warning. On this offseason, one of the good people, one of the most respected people in the league, William Clay Ford, passed away, age of 88. Last surviving grandchild of Henry Ford, youngest child of Edsel Ford. So much a part of not just the Ford Motor Company, but this football team, which he loved, and his players loved him as well. A half-century a part of this team. His widow is now in charge of the team with Bill Jr. His son's been a long-time part of it, the vice chairman. And the Ford family was on the field along with some great Lions. There is William Ford Jr. in the suit there, as they had a great tribute to a wonderful owner, William Clay Ford Sr. Loyal and very special man. For the first time, Nate Freese tries an NFL field goal. Rookie out of Boston College, missed it to the left from 43 yards.
Lions continue to let New York hang around here.
Giants ball with time to score. Lions had two kickers. Giorgio Tavecchio was the other one in camp. Freese, the draft pick, had the opportunity. Was perfect last year at Boston College, but misses from 43 yards. So the Giants have an opportunity inside of 2, and Victor Cruz catches for the first time tonight, gets to the 37, a gain of 4.
And this is where the Giants must pass protect. Obviously an area that they struggled last year in these obvious passing situations.
And Manning is flush, throws on the run to the sideline, incomplete. Try to get it back to Cruz.
There's too many bodies around Manning. Hard to step up in the pocket and go through your reads when there's a lot of penetration and push. That time Eli flushes, throws the ball away, sets up 3rd and 6.
See 43, Nevin Lawson, the nickelback, the rookie 4th-round pick, is playing still for Detroit in the secondary as Bill Bentley was injured in the first half. 3rd and 5, and the throw to Donnell, the tight end, is complete for the first down into Detroit territory. Timeout Giants with $1:25 to go.
These Detroit linebackers continue to crowd the line of scrimmage. That time Manning threw it right behind him for a big first down.
Giant ball at the 46 when we come back. Ray Rice news is the big news of the day. John Harbaugh addressed it with the media during our first half. Morton Adam will have all the news on the Toyota halftime, hosted by Trey Wingo in a moment. 1st and 10 Giants. Jernigan got his head around late, and the pass was incomplete, with Darius Slay covering for the Lions, John.
And Eli's disgusted there. You can say what you want about the timing and the footwork. Jernigan was late with his head. That was all timing. Young receiver, veteran quarterback, not on the same page.
2nd and 10. Lions rushing 4. Eli holding on. Got rid of it, and it's caught for just a yard as Manning was getting engulfed by Ziggy Ansah. Catch by Ruben Randall.
Excuse me, good coverage by Detroit in the secondary, and on 3rd and 9, expect Detroit to cut it loose.
They handle Sue, and the pass to Randall is incomplete as Ziggy Ansah got through again. And John, you talked about that right at the beginning of the game. You thought he might have an impact night.
Well, it's the 3rd time he's got to Eli. He hasn't picked up the sack, but if you're going to cut block a defensive end, you better get some of them. That time Beatty got none of them.
I love how Eli's on the ground facing the other way. He's watching the big board to see if the pass was complete or not. That's what happens. And Beatty, who was bothered by injury last year, has Ansah jump right over him. So 4th down, and Weatherford will try to pin Detroit deep. Ross runs over for the fair catch of the 37-yard punt. 2 timeouts, 49 seconds. Detroit ball at the 8.
Let's take a look at Will Beatty against Ziggy Ansah. It's a key matchup. Beatty coming back from an injury last year. Did a good job. One-on-one, no help. Another good play by Beatty. But if you leave anybody one-on-one enough times against a real good rusher, chances are they're going to get beat. Beatty had a terrible injury in week 16 last year, Mike. Hurt his knee, hurt his foot, had surgery. Nobody thought he'd be ready. It's a credit to him to be here opening day, but they need him to have a much better season than he had a year ago.
49 seconds left. Stafford has Calvin Johnson on the sideline, but operates out of the shotgun. He's hand to Reggie Bush on an inside run. Bush gains 4 to the 12. And timeout is taken. 41 seconds left. wasn't clear before the break. The Giants took that timeout, so they have one remaining. Detroit has two. Matthew Stafford was just very clear with his instructions in the huddle to his team. He'll just take a knee here with 40 seconds left. And the Giants will not use their other timeout. New York will get the ball first to start the second half, and Detroit, after the blazing start with 2 touchdowns, saw the Giants jump into no huddle, stabilize the game a bit, but the Lions have more penalty yards than the Giants have total yards in that first half. At the half, here in Detroit, Lions 14, Giants 7. Here's Trey Wingo with the Toyota halftime.
Welcome to Monday Night Football.
It makes rock concerts look like tea parties.
99 yards and a half.
Ignition, we have liftoff.
Are you ready for some football? He's at it, a record! He's at it! Or you can take me now, I've seen it all. Season 45, Game 1, Half 2. Giants and Lions here at Ford Field in Detroit. The numbers at the break. Giants have 75 total yards, the Lions 85 yards in penalties. Detroit dominating the game statistically. 2 first quarter drives that led to touchdowns. The Giants have 1 good drive, not much else, but it's 14-7 on the board. Why?
Oh, you said it, penalties, 8 of them. And you can't let a quarterback like Eli Manning hang around. The Lions are 0-6 against these 2 Mannings, and this looks a lot like the game last year where the Giants knocked the Lions out of the playoffs. It was an ugly game, but the Giants just hung in there, made enough plays at the end. Detroit needs to knock New York out. They're a better football team, but they have clearly hurt themselves with penalties.
Your life is, other than your family and us, is offense. These are new offenses. Tell me what you thought of Stafford and the Lions' new look offense.
I just think Stafford has a much better supporting cast. He has 5 eligible receivers that can do real damage, led by Calvin Johnson, but he's thrown the ball to his backs. He's used his tight ends. I've seen him audible. They have a better offensive line. They've been together. Everything is a work in progress right now for Eli, but they're just a score down.
We're going to see this Giants offense first to start the third quarter as Detroit won the toss and chose to take the ball. Sam Martin with the kick for the Lions. And all 3 of his kicks have been unreturnable. And here's Lisa Salters.
Hey, Mike. Well, Tom Coughlin has described this new offense as a work in progress, just 75 total yards in that first half. I asked him what he thought. He said, you know what? We hung in there. We battled back from the early storm. We didn't get frustrated, but we need some playmakers to step up and make plays. He also told us yesterday we've got to be committed to the run this season. That's something that we couldn't do last year. We didn't have the play action because opponents didn't respect our run game. Just 27 rushing yards that first half. He said we got to keep trying. We need more snaps, need some first downs. That's how you get into a rhythm. Mike?
Lisa will see if they can start that on this drive. From the 20, it is a run to the left with Rashad Jennings, who really looked good in the preseason. Jennings tackled by Tulloch after a gain of 4. So I mentioned that 13-play drive that led to the touchdown. The Lions kept that alive twice with penalties, John. Other than that, not much to write home about.
That's a pass interference call on Darius Slay, a roughing the punter penalty, and on second down is 6. Let's see if the Giants give Rashad Jennings back-to-back runs to try to get the run game established.
Goodell, the tight end, in motion. Strong side of the formation to the right. So Jernigan comes to the left. Chased to the sideline and shown the sideline by DeAndre Levy. Good play, good read.
What a nice instinctive play by DeAndre Levy. Watch number 54. Second on the Lions in tackles last year. He reads the reverse. He slips Will Beattie's block and makes an excellent play. You'd like to see Beattie make that play on the backside, but Levy's just too athletic.
8th tackle for Levy. He was taken in the 3rd round of the 09 draft out of Wisconsin. He has played a lot for the Lions. He's played a lot of good football for them. The hand signals Eli is giving to his receivers to adjust the route. And there it is. And the signals weren't picked up. Did Levy keep that in his hands? There's no whistle. He's running, picking up blockers, and down at the 18-yard line. It looked like it had to hit the ground, but a couple of times he just balanced it on his head, and for the moment, it's a turnover.
Well, you have all these hand signals and all this noise. You don't know if Donnell is supposed to turn and look for the ball or not. Obviously, Eli is disgusted, and that looks like a clean interception.
Ooh,
well,
right there at the end. Right there at the end is what they look at. Turnover, so automatically reviewed. Right here at the end. Oh, he gets his hands underneath it. It looks like it never touched the ground.
I say give it to him. He had 6 interceptions last year. How about that ability to concentrate and finish the play?
So they will look at it.
The previous play is under review.
And the review, as you know, this year happens not just here at the stadium, but also Dean Blandino and the league office in New York at the command center. They'll take a look at what we just showed you. It's the back of Vice President of Officiating Dean Blandino, who's just on the headset with Clete Blakeman here in Detroit, the command center, watching the replays, showing them with Blakeman for this ruling. Was it an interception by Levy?
After review of the play, the ruling on the field stands as called. It'll be first down, Detroit.
I don't think Eli was happy that the play stands, not confirmed, which is interesting, but stands. It was a good look back inside that you saw it bounce on the arm, and Levy able to capture it before it hits the ground again right there. I thought that was down, but the other angle showed he had pinned it on that bicep. So on the game's first turnover, Levy, who was a big interception man with 6 last year, gives Detroit the ball in the red zone. And Stafford back to work. Comes down to the check down. Joink Bell bouncing off a tackle. Bell to the 13-yard line. Gain of 5.
Back to Eli, Mike. It's these interceptions, but it's this verbal, non-verbal. What's a hand signal? It's the lack of getting everybody on the same page. There's Eli calling one signal. He signals another to Donnell. I don't know if Donnell ever looked for the football.
So that hand signal means Donnell's got to react and change his route.
Yeah, you change the route with a hand signal, and everybody has to be on the same page or you end up looking bad.
Lions have 3 tight ends in the game. On 2nd and 5, and Bell with a run up the middle, just shy of the 10-yard line. He's third, about 1.5 yards here for Detroit. John Beeson, Stevie Brown, the tackle. Brown back in the state, former captain in Ann Arbor for Michigan.
And this is going to be a spread formation. Ross, number 12, Golden Tate, 15, check back in. They're going to spread the Giants out and isolate Calvin Johnson at the top of the screen.
85, that first-round pick, Eric Ebron, provides size for that bunch on the bottom of the screen to the right. 3rd and 2, it is Stafford. Again, buying time. This has worked twice, but not this time as he throws it away. And flushed by Cullen Jenkins of the Giants. It'll set up a field goal opportunity.
Cullen Jenkins was running. The ex-Philadelphia Eagle. Take a look at number 99. I think he's playing on the outside shoulder of the guard. Good penetration against Larry Warford, but watch him surge after Matt Stafford. That's 330 pounds. Nice work by Cullen Jenkins.
Outside shoulder of the guard. Is that 3 technique?
Yeah, you're learning it, Mike.
I just, new system. I'm just trying to learn the new terminology here. Freeze missed before from 43. The rookie from 28. And he's got his first NFL field goal. Turnover in the red zone. Turns into 3 for the Lions. Plus 10. Honoring one of the local military heroes, as happens at so many games and so many sports. And it's wonderful that the NFL teams follow suit doing that. Here in Ford Field, Eli Manning and the Giants. Only one good drive to show. 77 yards total thus far, and in a 10-point hole early in the 3rd. And that is 4 touchbacks for the kickoff man, Sam Martin. So Tom Coughlin's been doing this a long time with the Giants. His 11th year with the Giants, 19th year as a head coach. Jim Caldwell back in the big chair as the head coach after he replaced his friend Tony Dungy in Indianapolis. Out there a couple of years in Baltimore as part of the offensive staff. Gets the opportunity with this Detroit team with a lot of talent. And these two coaches watching new offenses go to work for the first time that it matters. The Giants, as Tom Coughlin keeps saying, work in progress. The Lions, a little bit of the same old story, self-inflicted damage so far, but they lead by 10. Ndamukong Suh with the stop on Rashad Jennings, man in a contract year this year.
Hard man to block. Here he is on a double team. He's going to disengage. 85% of the plays he played last year, that's more than any other defensive tackle on this team. That's by a large margin. He's got excellent playing stamina for a big man.
Both sides use their code words to adjust to this 2nd and 10 run for Jennings. It's the middle of that Detroit line. C.J. Mosley, part of the stop, to gain 3. The middle of that line's dominated by number 90, Ndamukong Suh. His contract is up after this year. He wants to be one of the highest paid defensive players, if not defensive linemen in the league. J.J. Watt, coming off that huge contract, showed you what he can do with his opening statement yesterday in Houston's win. Suh paid very well as he was the number 2 pick. Counts $22.4 million against the cap this year, highest in the NFL. So it makes it hard to keep him around as a franchise player next year. 3rd and 7. Manning's got time. He has an underneath route with Jernigan, but he's not going to be able to get away from Glover Quinn. And that is a 4th 3-and-out possession for the Giants here tonight.
And where is Victor Cruz? 1 catch for 4 yards. Been no factor tonight, and the Lions are missing their starting nickel corner. Nevin Lawson, a rookie that time, did a nice job switching his coverage. And Cruz is clearly frustrated, Mike.
Weatherford injured a bit in the first half, taped his ankle, has been punting, and effective here, 51 yards. And here comes Jeremy Ross. Well covered Mark Herslet does such a good job in the deep snapper for the Giants. Zach Diassi on the tackle at the 25. Mega impact on opening night from Megatron. Calvin trying to get a 6th 200-yard game with his team already leading by 10. John, any offense looks better with the best receiver in the league as part of it.
Yes, he is. And he's made a couple big plays tonight. He's done it against Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie here on a scramble drill. He stays alive, and the Giants blow a coverage. There's a deep out. He gets both feet in. He tracks the sideline, and then another scramble drill reception away from his body. And how would you like to have a wingspan like that? Then he just beats the press easily with that strength. He can run over you. He can run by you. He can jump over you. He can do it all.
In the 25-yard line, there was a big miscue there, and Antrel Roll knew what was going on. It allowed Robert Ayers to walk in for a big loss.
They disguise coverages extremely well. That time the veteran Antrel Roll fools Stafford, comes screaming off the left side. He's unaccounted, and this is a bad play by this Lion offense. You have to audible in that situation, but you must credit Antrel Roll, the veteran Giant safety man.
Loss of 5 on the play. Second and 15. This is what Detroit has done well tonight. Throw the ball. It's complete to Bush, but only a gain of 3. Rodgers-Cromartie on the stop.
This Antrel Roll, he's played corner in college. He's played the nickel position. I've even seen him play wildcat, but he's a student of the game. He's been studying the New Orleans Saints offense for the last 3 months, getting ready for this Lion offense because they're running all of the same plays. And he loves playing the safety position. He sees the field better. Remember last year he moved around everywhere. I expect Roll to have a lot of interceptions playing that safety position where he can see.
Much more of a full-time safety. And that 3 safety look, he come down, play like a linebacker at times. This is 3rd and 11. Pettigrew stays in to help block. And Stafford fires for Tate to the 33-yard line. A pickup of 43 to Golden Tate.
That coverage, it's that Tampa 2 coverage. I call it the turkey hole between the corner and the safety. Right out here on the outside, you roll up the safety, plays the slot receiver down the middle, and there's just nobody to cover Golden Tate. It's a huge vulnerability in that coverage if you don't reroute and sink. And Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie gets no help from his safety, and Golden Tate gashes him.
Stevie Brown coming over late. Robert Ayers, who rushed the passer, hobbled off the field for the Giants. So their third defensive end in the rotation is out. Good debut in Detroit for Tate. After 32, they have not run the ball well at all, and that continues with John Beeson. A loss of 3 as Reggie Bush had the carry. We came to the meeting last night. We sat down with Roll and Beeson, and it was like sitting with 2 defensive coordinators.
You wanted to hang around those guys all night. Look at Beeson read this counter. You're going to see pulling Detroit Lions to the left, and Beeson says, I saw it in the first half. Nice job separating from the block and stuffing Reggie Bush. John Beeson, if he can stay healthy, he'll return to the Pro Bowl. Here come the Giants, Mike.
Two linebackers, 52 and 57, hang out opposite the center. Are they going to come? They're going to back out. One comes, one backs out. And Fourier with the catch. And the second-year tight end carrying Giants to the 10-yard line. Joseph Fourier, first down.
That's just too easy. 6'7". Fourier had 7 touchdowns last year. Just a wise stick. He breaks to the outside. He catches a 5-yard pass, and he turns it into a huge gain, beating Jaquan Williams.
He was the touchdown man in those goofy dances last year. He wants to be more of a tight end, work hard on his inline blocking, wants to become a much more complete player at the position. You've got him, Brandon Pettigrew, a former first-round pick, and the most recent first-round pick, Ebron. 3 good tight ends here. First and goal, Stafford pumping, Enzo going up to get it as Johnson, incomplete. Calvin went for number 3.
They're trying to get Reggie Bush on another halfback choice. They didn't have him, so Calvin Johnson goes up and makes a great catch, although they're not going to give him the touchdown.
Is his knee down here, John? Let's watch his knee. If the knee is down, then does he complete the process of the catch? No. He does not complete the process of the catch as he goes to the ground, thus it's incomplete. Fans are cheering. They see the one knee down, and that would equal touchdown. But the ball rolling out is the reason the Lions are not challenging. Play clock running down, and Bush takes the timeout as it was at 1. Stafford wanted the fans to be quiet. They were making noise because they thought they should challenge. Lions have won their last 3 season openers. Giants have lost week 1 the last 3 years. And a touchdown here might continue the trend both ways. 17-7. 6:05 left in the third. San Diego in Arizona. Take on the Cardinals coming up next. Chris Berman, Trent Dilfer, Lindsey Czarniak in Glendale.
There's Fourier at the top of the screen, Mike. They love to isolate him opposite Calvin Johnson.
Second and goal from the 9. Looking Fourier's way. Back shoulder. He couldn't pull it down. What a play by Prince Amukamara. Strong with the hands to pull it out of Fourier's hands.
Excellent play by the ex-Nebraska Cornhusker, finding the ball in the blind spot. You're playing bump and run coverage. The ball is in the air. You have to find it late in the down. Nice job by Prince Amukamara batting the ball away.
Watch it. Roar.
Third and goal. Stafford flush, sidearms it out, incomplete for Ebron. And the Giants pressure Robert Ayers out earlier in this drive with an injury. Comes back in and will force Detroit into another field goal attempt.
You know, one thing I like that Stafford did there is throwing the ball away, Mike. Last year he threw a lot of interceptions, was criticized for his decision making. You have a 10-point lead, you're in the scoring zone. Sometimes the best play that you can make is throwing it away because it's the only play, and he sets up Freeze for another mid-range field goal.
This one is 27. Made from 28 earlier. And knocks that one through. and extends the lead to 20-7 Detroit. Just under 6 minutes left here, third quarter. The last to play their first, San Diego and Arizona. Coaches who got off to good starts last year, and Mike McCoy and Bruce Arians. San Diego made the playoffs. Arizona was as hot as any team. They beat Seattle up there, the one team that did the impossible at the end of the year. Looking forward to the second game of our Monday Night Football doubleheader coming up as soon as we're done here in Detroit. The perfect kickoff night so far for Sam Martin. This is the first one that will be returned, and it is from the 2, taken back by Quentin Depps. Stopped shy of the 20 by Corey Fuller. Went to the baseball game last night over at Comerica Park. I saw a lot of hand signals, so if you can talk to me about all these hand signals we're seeing tonight.
Nobody talks anymore, Mike, but when you really take a look at it, you see the catcher, fastball, curveball, slider. You don't have to say anything, but the pitcher gets it, and then the manager says steal third, do a squeeze, bunt, hit and run. You don't need to say anything. That's how they play football in this new offense with the Giants. A lot of hand signals. They're changing runs to passes, passes to runs, wide receivers, routes change, slot combinations. And if they're not on the same page, bad things happen. That's one of the problems so far with this Giant attack. They haven't been on all cylinders.
Fairly flushed. Manning, who threw late, and it's intercepted. It's Glover Quinn inside the 20. Quinn down at the 20-yard line. And a couple of turnovers in the third for Eli and the Giants.
Well, we talked about Victor Cruz being frustrated on the last series. It looks like the Giants make an effort to get the ball to Cruz off of play action. Eli gets flushed. Nick Fairley right into Eli's face, and Glover Quinn read the quarterback all the way, gets the easy interception, and Detroit can put the Giants away right here.
Quinn had 3 picks last year. 1 came in here from Eli Manning. That was when the Giants beat the Lions in overtime to knock them out of the playoffs. As you said, knockout punch opportunity here. Second possession starting in the red zone. Run with Bell. To the 12-yard line. Joint Bell the carry.
It's 2 distinctly different backs. Very productive receivers, different runners. Bell is a hammer. Bush is a perimeter back, but this is right at you. Beeson misses a tackle, and that's an excellent job of moving the pile.
That'll be the one low grade so far for this Detroit offense, along with the penalty problems. Running the ball. 15 carries, 15 yards. Before that, 8-yard dance by Bell. After their longest run of the night, Reggie Bush seeking space, first down, and goal at the 5. As Bush follows up an 8-yarder with 7. And you mentioned that old Thunder-Lightning combination that people like to have over the years. This was a versatile Thunder-Lightning combo. They both had over 500 each rushing and receiving. That had not happened in the history of the league. Bush in his 9th year, Bell in his 4th year, and they're also high on Theo Riddick out of Notre Dame to add a little bit to that running back room as well. Now they're both in there together on 1st and goal. Stafford to the end zone. Incomplete. And Rogers Cromartie takes a 3rd touchdown away from Calvin Johnson.
Well, it's great design to have Reggie Bush run an option route underneath. He gets double covered, and it gives Calvin Johnson a pretty good look at one-on-one coverage. I think it's a good no call, Mike.
You see the technique there. Rogers Cromartie got his arm up underneath Calvin Johnson's arm. Wouldn't let him get in there to squeeze the ball. Good one-on-one matchup all night. You don't see it very often as Calvin Johnson gets single covered for a good part of the evening. Fake the run to Bush over the top for Fourier. Too tall and incomplete. So you're very well versed in the New Orleans Saints offense. You and Sean Payton were together back in your Philadelphia days. And that's what this offense is with the former Saints quarterbacks coach Joe Lombardi. I thought it was interesting that in the red zone, some of the old line concepts will still show up, not just the West Coast offense.
Yeah, well, Stafford said, hey, I did some pretty good things there, too. Right. Throwing a lot of yards and a lot of touchdown passes. They love isolation patterns to these monster receivers, Fourier and Calvin Johnson.
Stafford has missed on his last 5. Gonna run for it. And get there. Touchdown Detroit. Matthew Stafford.
That's going to go real well for Stafford when he watches his film tomorrow with his teammates. You earn a lot of respect from your teammates. I don't care if you're a rookie or a fifth-year man. When you put the ball down and decisively sell out the score. That's impressive. That's the 3rd touchdown tonight for this Lion offense, and all 3 of them, you have to compliment Stafford's legs.
Freeze extra point. He did it a couple of times last year, 10 times now in his career. A lot of build-up, a lot of things put around Matthew Stafford this year to take the next step. So far, so good. The Week 2 action kicks off with Thursday Night Football. Our friends at CBS and NFL Network starting 8:25 Eastern. The Steelers off their win taking on the Ravens. And obviously, Baltimore so much in the news with the Ray Rice story earlier today. A story so large that President Obama's press secretary released a statement regarding the president's reaction to what happened. So you'll be hearing and seeing plenty about that in the hours and days ahead. Penultimate game of Week 1, and it's one-sided here in Detroit. 27-7. Other than one good drive, the Giants offense has looked like that work in progress. It has been oft-described as. Eli intercepted twice in the last 5 snaps, 27 times last year. But you go back like these coaches do. You looked at Eli's interception reel. What did you see?
Well, you can't get them off the hook for all of them. Some of them are bad decisions, but they just don't run the ball here. Their offensive line gets mismatched. They get marginal wide receiver play, and there's a big reason why Eli Manning's stats are declining.
Andre Williams is in there to try to establish some sort of a run, and he gets about a yard.
Well, let's take a look at the 2 interceptions. The first one, Manning is hand signaling, and Larry Donnell never looks for the ball. So I don't know whose fault that is. The next one, nobody blocks Nick Fairley or C.J. Mosley. I guess it is Fairley, and it's a bad decision that Eli compounded one bad play with another, but he needs some help. They need to find something they can do fast.
D lineman's dream of 20. Pass caught by Daniel Fells. 2 yards shy of the first down for Fells in his 7th year in the league. 4 catches in 2012 with the Patriots.
And that's another designed block screen. You see Aaron Rodgers in the Packers run. They throw the ball to the tight end in the flat with 2 lead blockers, and it's going to be a high percentage throw, but if the Giants want to get back in this, they're going to have to start pushing it.
Giants tonight, 40 plays, 91 yards. Manning has time, throws to Cruz, and it is gone. Circus catches. Lawson was covering. Quinn, the safety, was coming back, and Cruz was able to bring it in at the 48.
That's Nevin Lawson, a rookie out of Utah State. That's what I want to see, Mike. Eli Manning, world champion. Look for your best receiver. He's your most experienced, reliable target. Keep throwing it to him.
Second catch for Cruz. That one good for 20. Cannelo's looking for his direction. Look out, Abdul Kadous chasing, and Eli had to get rid of it. The safety on the pressure, untouched on the right side.
Well, this is not good. Eli Manning is running a sprint out route, and both of the receivers are blocking. Eli Manning is trying to run a rollout to his right and throw the football, but again, both of his receivers don't get the hand signal or the audible, and down goes Manning.
the run. And Rashad Jennings trying to get to the outside carry. Slay on the corner. Starts the tackling party. It's a gain of about 4 as we dip under 90 seconds remaining in this third quarter. Green Bay does it, and maybe watching this, and I know they lost by 20 in Seattle, it gives you an appreciation for Rodgers and the high level with which they change things at the line of scrimmage, and it works so well.
Well, I mean, Rodgers has been in that system for years. Eli's been in this system for months. And there's a big difference who Rodgers is surrounded with and who Manning has as his supporting cast. This is going to take some time.
Final minute of the quarter. Jennings out of the backfield. Could not get away from Stephen Tulloch. It is 4th and 1, down 20 with 50 seconds left. On the Lions side of midfield, you'd think it's a go-for-it situation.
Stephen Tulloch, 138 tackles he made last year. That was a big one. One-on-one in space with no help. And Ben McAdoo gets the green light to go for it on 4th and a long one.
Jennings able to get the first down at the 40-yard line. It's one thing the Giants were good at last year. Converted about 78% of those 3rd or 4th and 1s. And able to get one here as the quarter about to come to an end, but John Jerry is slow to get up. So the officials, as they are more aware of the last year or so, helping the training staff if they see a player in a little bit of discomfort, they stop the clock and get him. So Jerry walks off the field. They'll restart the clock, and the quarter will come to an end. After 3 in Detroit, it's the Lions 27 and the Giants 7 on Monday Night Football. Back for the 4th quarter. Mike Tirico, John Gruden, Lisa Salters. Giants down 20 at the Lions 40, and it's a run with the rookie Andre Williams. Gains 4 on the play. Stephen Tulloch very busy. Tulloch, Levin, Tahir Whitehead won the opposite 3rd linebacker job. He's a pretty good linebacker core the Lions bring out there week in, week out. Behind Sue Fairley and those first rounders on the front. Penalty flag thrown for a false start on the Giants.
False start. Offense. Number 70. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
That's the rookie starting at left guard, 2nd-round pick Weston Richburg. And John, we mentioned John Jerry was hurt at the end of the quarter. Brendan Mosley, a 4th-round pick last year, is in there for the Giants right now at right guard.
Well, Jeff Schwartz was signed, got a lot of money to be the left guard. He dislocated his toe. A lot of moving parts on this offensive line, and let's see if this Detroit Lion defensive line can end it.
Go! 2nd and 10. Manning throwing for the middle for Cruz. Incomplete. Glover Quinn with a hard hit on Victor.
Nobody's making a play to ignite this offense. Jernigan dropped one in the opening series of the game. I've seen Victor Cruz go inside and make that catch. You're going to get hit. I've seen him snatch that ball.
Quinn stayed down for a minute. Lions training staff out to see him, and he's going to come off. The Lions thin at that spot. Mentioned James Ahedebo, supposed to be the starter, is out. So is Don Carey. And with Quinn shaking up, the Lions down to 2 safeties. That means they'll have the rookie Jerome Copeland, undrafted, back there with Isa Abdul-Quddus. That is the weak spot of this team, and now dealing without both starting safeties. Bill Bentley, their nickelback, hurt earlier. Detroit's down to 6 defensive backs for the moment. 3rd and 15 now, as it was early movement by Justin Pugh. Or let's see if the Lions got there first. Eli's trying to negotiate the penalty on Jason Jones. I think he's going to lose.
False start. Offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
You know, Mike, when you look at this Lions secondary, that's number 24, Jerome Copeland, an undrafted rookie from William & Mary. The nickel corner is a backup, number 43. He's a rookie from Utah State. And there's Abdul Quddus, who's a backup safety who just got here from New Orleans. The Giants need to get after this young secondary group of the Lions fast.
Eli, the hand signal, sends Jernigan in short motion. 3rd and 15. Manning throws. It is caught for the first down by Donnell. So Larry Donnell, the tight end of the 29. Needed 15. They got 16.
Nice catch by Donnell. He gets rerouted. Good catch in a crowd. First down, Giants.
We have seen this week teams haven't played full games, comebacks in the 4th quarter. That happened often. Jennings, a 5-yard gain on first down. Jennings brought down by the rookie Copeland.
Here comes Fairley.
He didn't look like he was exactly ready to resume physical exertion.
His weight got way too high. He hired a chef, I read, Mike.
Yes.
To try to help him get the weight where it needs to be and keep it there.
He's in the contract year as well. Last year of his deal. 2nd and 4. Manning will come down to Jennings and have first down and more down the sideline. Jennings inside the 5. And it's 1st and goal for the Giants.
No pass rush. And Eli Manning had time to get to his outlet receiver. You could just sense the fatigue in this Detroit Lion front. Watch all the time that Eli Manning has. Looking to his left, no rush at all. And he kicks the ball outside to Jennings and Detroit full coverage.
1st and goal for the Giants. Slamming inside there with Jennings. Very close to the goal line. And the head linesman's going to run in, keep him a bit short.
Saw this yesterday, Mike, in the 4th quarter of a lot of games. Conditioning is a factor. A lot of these players haven't played this many snaps in a long time. I saw the Steelers lose a big lead. I saw Carolina lose a big lead. Let's see if the Giants can get back in this game.
Heavy personnel. Hynoski, the fullback, leads for Jennings. Even though he got hit by Tulloch, spins in for the touchdown. A hard yard for Rashad Jennings. And he has his first Giants touchdown.
Reverse pivot, just a simple lead play off the left side, and that's all Jennings' second effort. Credit the Giants after all that went wrong. Finding a way to get back in this game.
The Giants team that had right around 90 yards when this drive got started. They put up 80 in 14 plays and kept the Lions out there for nearly 7 minutes. Couple of looks for confirmation, and that one right down the goal line. And the all-good signal is given. Without Josh Brown to make it a 13-point game. And still time, just under 12 minutes left. Tom Coughlin's team puts together their second good drive of the night. Giants back in it, down 13 with just under 12 to go. Brown kicks, Jeremy Ross watches it go. Detroit takes over at the 20. Well, it's the first night in the NFL careers of Ben McAdoo and Joe Lombardi calling plays. They had been quarterback coaches, now elevated in different places to offensive coordinator. You had that experience when you had to become a play caller for the first time. What was that like in Philadelphia?
And it was great, Mike. In Philadelphia, I was 31 years old, calling plays in the preseason. We were 4-0. Newspapers were calling me Boy Wonder. But then Tampa Bay came to town on the opening day, beat us 21-6.
Right.
I was Boyd Blunder the next day in the Philadelphia Inquirer. Being an offensive coordinator is a tough job. Not everybody wants to ride that horse.
You got to call the right plays, the right time, keep everybody happy. Joyce Bell with the carry, trying to keep the pile going. He gains 4 here. As we mentioned in Monday Night Countdown, the Lombardi surname carries a lot of weight in this league, and Joe Lombardi is the grandson of Vince Lombardi, who, before he became the Packers championship coach, was the offensive coordinator with the Giants. Guys like the great Frank Gifford, Mr. Monday Night Football over the years. How about Vince Lombardi on the offense and Tom Landry coaching the defense for Jim Lee Howell, the head coach of those Giants teams in the mid-50s. He never got a chance to meet his grandfather, who passed before Joe was born. He carries that name with pride and a great deal of respect as well. 2nd and 7. The fullback Collins gives time to Stafford, who goes to Ebron. And the rookie tight end couldn't find it in the air as the fans wanted a flag on Rogers Cromartie.
Ebron is the tight end that I think Detroit would like to use, like the Saints used Jimmy Graham. This is a double move off of play action, and they're trying to get their big tight end deep. And Dominic Rogers Cromartie, a very good cover corner, holds his own.
Hey, watch Coffee House.
Ebron broke some Heath Miller records in the ACC, broke some Vernon Davis records as well, one of the top tight ends in the conference's history. Big play here for the Giants defense. Stafford has missed his last 6 passes. And this one is caught for the first down by who else? Calvin Johnson at the 45-yard line.
It's just the details of how this pass protection system works. Watch the nudge right here on Jason Pierre-Paul by Joyce Bell. That gives Riley Reif, the left tackle, enough help to get the block executed. And if Matt Stafford gets that kind of time, he and Calvin Johnson are going to do a lot of damage.
Welcome to Detroit.
153 for Calvin Johnson. That was his first reception of his second half. Joyce Bell running to the left. Gains a yard. You mentioned that term nudge. My grandmother always used to use the term nudge. Somebody gets under your skin a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's what has to happen to those defensive ends when you're playing a team like New Orleans or now this system, when all the time you're just getting this little hit in the ribs from a running back who's on his way out to catch a pass.
I mean, how would you like to be a defensive end? You work so hard to get a 3rd and 9 to rush the passer, and you have some 235-pound man nudge you. It's not fun. Pierre-Paul doesn't like that. All these quarterbacks running zone reads. Now they're getting nudged. There's a lot of conflict going on for these premier rushers.
2nd and 9, Bush thinking about bouncing it to the outside, stays inside and gets to midfield where it'll be 3rd and 5. We've seen Reggie in this whole run when he came to New Orleans, and we always used to use the term a satellite, get him on the edges. He was really bent on becoming a between the tackles runner in Miami, and he's trying to continue that here in Detroit.
Yeah, I give Bush a lot of credit. And I give Tony Sperano, the ex-head coach of the Dolphins, a lot of credit for helping him become a 1,000-yard back. And he did it with old-fashioned power gap runs. He's run for 1,000 yards on 2 of the last 3 seasons on 2 different teams. He's a dual threat.
Third and 5, Stafford gets the playoff in time, and he rockets one to Calvin Johnson for 11 yards and a first down.
I just like what Stafford's doing in this system. You can hear him kill, 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 activate in the second play. He sees the blitz coming. He kills the first play that was called in the huddle to a quick developing slant route, and Calvin Johnson beats Dominic Rogers Cromartie. But Stafford's done it all tonight. He's audible. He's made some great throws from the pocket. And he's made 3 surprising scramble plays that have resulted in touchdowns. You got to be happy that he hasn't turned the ball over as well.
39, toss to Bell. Gets to the edge. Joyce Bell with a carry. Bumped out of bounds, but a good first down gain for the back. Ask you about something you just said with Stafford. He's coming to the line and killing one of the plays. So when he comes in the huddle, he's calling 2 plays at once?
Yeah, he gets in the huddle. He might say, hey, it's 96. I'm killing it with 97. So if he walks to the line of scrimmage and just runs the play, it's 96. But if he says kill, 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 we're running 97. So in the huddle, he'll call 2 plays. And if he activates a second one, you'll hear him say kill, kill, kill. Hard to do, a lot to say. Here he is again, killing it. He's got 1 play, and he's activating the second one.
And it's Bell. Bounced to the outside, got the first down. And Stevie Brown takes him down after a gain of 11 at the 20-yard line.
That's great blocking and a heck of a run by Joyce Bell, but that's as much Matthew Stafford recognizing the defense, the weakness in the front, and going there killing it. This is great stuff. Stafford, we know he can make all the throws, but if he can take his game to another level as a pro quarterback, with these audibles, look out.
You come to the line, you've called 2, you check out the defense, and you've got like 2 seconds to decide, I'm going with the first one or the second one.
Exactly right.
It's great stuff. Theo Riddick is now the back. Lions back in the red zone. Riddick spinning and brought down to the 15-yard line. A lot of buzz in the OTAs, the off-season training for the teams, from the players about Theo Riddick. Went to Notre Dame, was a running back, a slot guy, a wide receiver, a kick returner, and really emerged as they were putting in the offense. Now, can he take that to the game weeks and to the field? If so, he adds to Bush and Bell as another threat.
Yeah, and they just cut a second-round draft choice, Michael LaSure, who wore number 25. Riddick beat him out. And that receiving background that you mentioned at Notre Dame will serve him well in this Lions scheme.
Lions bleeding clock on this drive. Bush tripped up. Antrell Roll buzzing in to bring him down and brings up 3rd down. I like that. That's respect. That is respect for one guy to another, as they've been going at it here for 3.5 quarters, the safety and the quarterback.
I just love watching these substitutions, Mike. It's Ebron, then it's Fourier, then it's Pettigrew. It's Bush or Bell. It's a number of different players contributing tonight, and Matt Stafford, for the most part, has handled all these formations extremely well.
They walked it down the field. Now they punch it in the end zone. On 3rd and 4, here comes Pierre-Paul. Stafford throws to take. 1st and goal for the Lions at the 3.
It's a pick-aside play. Matt Stafford looks just like Drew Brees. This is the Y-stick lookie, Mike, that we previewed in the pregame. He can throw it over here, or he can throw the lookie over there. He's just going to look at the defense, pick a side, and do what he thinks is best, and he's been right all night.
And the Y in that Y stick, that's the tight end who runs that route to start the whole play.
Well, you can throw for 345 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. In a new offense, you're doing something right.
Calvin Johnson, bottom of the screen. 2 touchdowns tonight. It will be Bell spinning, turning into the end zone for a Lions touchdown.
That was easy. A very decisive knockout punch by this Lion offense. Criticized last year for blowing 4 fourth-quarter leads. It ain't happening tonight. They just slammed the ball off the right side between these 2 tackles and all these tight ends, and Joyce Bell bounced it, scored anyway. I'd run behind Larry Warford, this right guard, myself, Mike.
John, whether you use a book or a chart or just start counting on your fingers, if you're up 19, you go for 2 to try to go up 21. 4:39 left. I don't know if it's the most important 2-point attempt ever, but we'll try to add on. And Stafford busted into Fourier. Did he break the plane? Yes, he did. 4-2. Tight spot, and Joseph Fourier able to make the catch and extend the lead out. 21-point lead on opening night for the Lions. Matthew Stafford has run for a touchdown, thrown a couple, and through this 2-point conversion to Joseph Fourier, just to look down the plane to the goal line. You see he breaks the plane before his knee comes down on the ground, so that is good for the 2. And takes the lead up to 21. I know you're a big fan of new technology. You like this stuff here, John?
I sure do, Mike.
I'm sure you'll be dialed in when Apple makes its announcement tomorrow. The new product's coming. I know you're a big new product guy.
Yeah.
As long as it works, right? Otherwise, give me the old stuff back, like my VCR. And Arizona comes your way for the home opener. You can check out the Cardinals next. Patrick Peterson, one of the best in the league, getting set to take on the San Diego offense. It is Cardinals Chargers to wrap up week 1 of the 2014 season. Coming up next, the Monday Night Football season opening doubleheader. Chris Berman, Trent Dilfer, Lindsey Czarniak getting in place there in Glendale. Giants taking over from the 20, and Jennings with the gain of 14. Glover Quinn back in the game for the Lions. The safety in on the tackle.
There's that block screen again. Flip it out to a back, get 2 lead blockers. Very good play against the zone coverage.
The Giants did have a good drive and gained some momentum, but the Lions just sucked any life remaining out of them. 7-minute scoring drive, 37 rushing yards on that drive. Same play the other way, and chased down by George Johnson is Jennings. Detroit's new defensive coordinator, the other new play caller tonight, Terrell Austin, was the defensive backs coach with the Ravens. His only time as a defensive coordinator, John, was with the University of Florida, with the Mighty Gators, and now this is a first opportunity at the NFL level. Off to a good start tonight.
He's done an excellent job, and man, does he have a lot of experience around him.
Manning from the 44. That pass is not able to be hung on to by Cruz, and incomplete. You say that, John, on that opposite side there for the Detroit defense. Gunther Cunningham is still around. He was the defensive coordinator, now a senior assistant. Alan Williams, safeties coach. He was a defensive coordinator in Minnesota. And Bill Sheridan was the Giants defensive coordinator back in 09.
How about the defensive line coach?
Oh, I forgot Jim Washburn,
He
too.
was a defensive coordinator, so he's taking ideas from everybody and putting his defenses together.
Andre Williams strung out and stopped and trying to go on the perimeter for 3rd and 1. That's a different looking Giant football, and they don't pick it up, and it's 4th down.
Giants fans frustrated. Victor Cruz has seen the ball fall off his hands the last 2 times he's been targeted.
And on 4th and 1, Williams not going to get there. Abdul Kudus and Sue among the Lions to come up with a stop, and Detroit will take over on downs here at the 3:02 mark.
That's what you want to see from Ndamukong Suh in this defensive line of the Detroit Lions. Dominate the game from start to finish. Take care of business in the 4th quarter, and Ndamukong Suh seals the deal.
Remember, everybody said, what's wrong with Phillip Rivers? Nothing wrong with him last year. Mike McCoy's new system on offense got Rivers rolling, and here he goes for another season. Man traded for Eli Manning, of course, back in the 2004 draft, leading the Chargers against the Cardinals next on Monday Night Football. No gain for Bell, 2:55 to go. I mentioned the Giants get Arizona next week, then Houston the following week. Jadeveon Clowney out 4 to 6 weeks. J.J. Watt, good impact in their win over Washington, and that's who the Giants play after the Texans on a short week. They play your brother's team on Thursday, so it'll be a short week and a quick turnaround for those teams. It's going to be 4 straight years with the Giants losing the opener, and the 4th consecutive year that the Lions will open 1-0. They're going to join Minnesota, top the division. Dell to the right. Great to see Mike Zimmer get a victory in his first game as an NFL head coach.
You know, Mike Zimmer, as a defensive coordinator in Cincinnati, did a great job with a bunch of Bengals. Not a lot of people considered household names. Don't be surprised if the Vikings don't sneak up on a lot of people, Mike.
I'm with you. At the 2-minute warning here in Detroit, Lions on their way to an opening night win. Fun night in downtown Detroit. 95,000 people between the two ballparks. 30,000 and change watch the Tigers beat the Royals in an important ALCS Central game, and 64,401 here at Ford Field for the 8th largest crowd since this building opened. By the way, Royals and Tigers will be a ESPN Wednesday night baseball game. Third and final game of that series. 3rd and 3. And Stafford will just throw it to Golden Tate, who will pick up the first down. And down at the 25-yard line, that should just about do it.
That's what Tate does. His statistics say he's the leading receiver in Seattle, but what they don't say is half of his yardage is after the catch. He is very good with the ball in his hands. He and Calvin Johnson with this 1-2 running back combination and a quarterback that has a lot of freedom and understanding of what to do with the ball. Looks good in this Lion attack.
Close to 2 receivers with 100 yards. And the Lions will just take a knee a couple of times and start thinking about Sunday against Carolina. Ron Rivera, the coach of the Panthers, said, looks like his quarterback Cam Newton will be ready to go after Derek Anderson got the Week 1 win. So coming up next over on ESPN2, it will be SportsCenter with the GMC postgame, the wrap-up coverage from here, plus everything that happened with Baltimore and the termination of Ray Rice's contract. That's all coming up on ESPN2 as we get set for San Diego and Arizona here on ESPN. Giants have had a bunch of good nights in this stadium. They've beaten the Lions at home 5 times in a row for a Lions home game. Remember, they won the game that the Metrodome roof collapsed and they had to come here and play Minnesota. Giants won that too. But it will not be a good night for the Lions tonight, or for the Giants tonight, as the Lions get an impressive opening night victory, 35-14. The largest Lions margin of victory in an opening game since 1980. 34 years since the Lions gotten off to this good start. So long ago, that game was in Los Angeles. A couple of guys for the postseason and Pro Bowls along the way. Eli Manning, Calvin Johnson. Lisa Salters standing by with the quarterback who looked pretty good in his new system.
Thank you, Michael. It made me run all the way over here to the sideline. Why do you have to have the hat on to do the interview?
Sweating too much, guy. I don't want to have a bad look on TV. You know that.
This was the first regular season game in this new offense. How did it feel different than in years past?
You know, we played well. Obviously, there's room for improvement. We had still too many penalties tonight. Didn't punch the ball in a couple times in the red zone. We needed to, but our defense played great. Got us the ball back a bunch of times, and when we get that many chances at it, you know, good things will happen for us.
You've always had Calvin. What was it like to just have so many other weapons?
Oh, it was great. You know, I think Coach Lombardi did a great job of building a game plan to get everybody involved, especially early on. We had guys catching the ball all over the place, and, you know, 81's 81. He's going to make plays like that all year for us, so we're happy to have him.
Take a look at the monitor. Just watch your scramble ability tonight. I mean, you've done this your entire career, but you had a lot of success with it tonight. Take me through this play.
Yeah, this is one, you know, they did a good job of stuffing us kind of on our initial look, and then, you know, Calvin just did a great job of seeing some open grass and going and getting it. This one, our O-line did a fantastic job, and Calvin made a great catch on that. And this one, they had it covered again. I was scrambling and was able to come back and get in. So
you threw the 2 touchdowns, but that run in, it looked like it meant something to you. What message did you want to send with that run touchdown?
You know, anytime we can score, it's great. And, you know, sometimes on 3rd down, you got to go in there and make a play with your feet. I was able to do it. I'm just glad I got in.
Congratulations, Matthew.
Thank you very much.
Mike.
Lisa, thank you. It put a lot of things and pieces around Matthew Stafford. New system, new quarterback coach, new offensive coordinator. And John, let's go back to the point we made about 3.5 hours ago. When Matthew Stafford walked into the meeting room on Saturday over at the Lions facility, you said he looks really good. And I talked to him before the game. He didn't want to give away exactly what he did. He said, I didn't do anything crazy, no wild yoga or anything like that. So just really put attention to getting in shape for the season. And he looked in good shape, and he looked like a great fit in this offense tonight.
And his legs were alive in the 4th quarter. And I think that's going to serve him well late in the season. His conditioning, his diet, whatever he's done, he looks better and he's playing better. And you got to credit the amount of work he's put in learning this offense.
Those are the big stories coming in. New offense for both of these quarterbacks. Let's go to Eli Manning and what we saw in game one of the installation of this offense and what happens when you do it without a ton of good people around you.
Yeah, they have a lot of issues right now. They got to find something they can hang their hat on, but it just didn't look good from the very beginning. You're going to give the quarterback freedom to change plays with hand signals. Everybody has to get it. On the first interception, Larry Donnell, number 84, didn't get the hand signal, and Levy intercepts the pass. Then there's another hand signal. You see Cruz signaling it outside. Both receivers end up blocking. Nobody runs a route. It's just a long way to go, this frustration. And this is a two-time world champion, I'm sure, that's not handling this very well. But they're putting him in a position to do a lot of things, and they've changed his footwork. The timing of patterns didn't look good tonight. This is frustrating, and the Lions took it to him.
There are so many longtime Giant fans. You think about their history, and you lose openers. I said they've lost 4 in a row. You have to go back to 1955 against the Eagles to go to a season opener where they were under 200 yards on offense and gave up over 400 yards on defense. So there's a lot of troubling signs here early on. They've got to get it fixed quick because they have a tough part of their schedule when they get into the middle of the season.
Yes, and it's the turnover ratio. Once again, the Lions didn't turn the ball over. The Giants have to get turnovers from their defense. You saw the 2 interceptions again from Eli tonight. This Giant team was way behind in the turnover margin last year. That trend continues, and that does not bode well for the Giants.
And you made a point about the penalties for the Lions, which were bad in the first half. This could have been a blowout in the second quarter. 8 for 85, none in the second half. So whatever Jim Caldwell said, message got sent to their team. So overall, the Lions walk out with a very good one. They play Carolina, and match up of 1-0 teams next week, and the Giants will try to find an answer against the Arizona Cardinals, who are coming up next here on ESPN as the Monday Night Football doubleheader continues. Fun evening here in downtown Detroit. Everybody get off I-94 so I can get home, if you don't mind. Coming up, San Diego and Arizona. And remember that GMC postgame is airing along with SportsCenter right now on ESPN2 if you want the reaction to this one. 35-14, the Lions win with John Gruden, Lisa Salters, our producer Jay Rothman, director Chip Dean, and our awesome Monday Night Football team, Mike Tirico, sending it from Detroit to Arizona. Cardinals and Chargers with Chris Berman.